Welcome to the Madison Miller podcast. Tonight's guest is someone that hasn't been on in a long time. He's a regular of the show. He covers the Rangers for his blog. What's the blog's name again?
NewYorkPuck.com.
NewYorkPuck.com. Thank you. The one, the only, Derek Brandon Felix. How are you doing on this Tuesday evening?
Doing pretty well. Just outside. Figured I'd enjoy a little bit of the weather. How about you?
The weather is very nice out. Of course it is. And just having myself a night, have the Yankees on one screen and the Rangers on the other, who are trailing right now, but we'll get to them in a second. And then I have something else on the TV. I might turn on Celtics Bucks. Yankees are 1-0. They're up 1-0 right now. Let's start with the Rangers. I know they're down 3-0 right now, but they're in first place in the entire league. I don't think any of us saw this coming before the season. So what are your thoughts on this season as a whole? I think it's been so much fun.
Well, it's been really exciting. It's been really fun. I mean, I didn't think that I didn't have them where they are. First place, most points in the NHL. I thought maybe they'd probably be battling for second or third in the division. I have them third actually, because I didn't see the Devils becoming what they are, a laughing stock.
Right.
I guess I think maybe they miscalculated. Maybe Fitzgerald miscalculated. Maybe the losses of Severson and Graves really hurt their defense, and their roster kind of changed in terms of the Rangers. I mean, Panarin. I mean, where would the Rangers be without Panarin? I mean, he's been fantastic. It's the best season in his career. 46 goals. What's he got? 115 points. I mean, he's just been unbelievable. It's incredible to watch. I like the way he competes. He competes so much harder on the forecheck. He even will block shots. I mean, and him and Trocheck especially. He got the Stephen McDonald award. Award. That was great. He deserved it. Extra effort. He's been money on faceoffs, 58, I think, 0.6%, and it's just great to see. Nice to see Lafreniere put it together and form the chemistry that they've had, him and Panarin especially, and I mean, and what about Jonathan Quick? I mean, we could talk about just jerking, and he straightened out, and tonight's not really his fault. They just played a miserable period, and Jonathan Quick's been such a great addition to this team, and look, it's really exciting to watch, and I just don't know where it's going to wind up, but we'll see what happens. It's really exciting, and this is a great chance for them, so we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely it is exciting. And Peter Laviolette has done a fantastic job. I mean, when they hired him, I was like, okay, we'll see. It kind of reminded me of when the Knicks hired Thibodeau in a weird way. It's like, okay, we'll see. It's a guy that's had experience and had success in the past, and this couldn't have worked out any better. I mean, the one thing was that, remember, he wasn't very good in Washington. In Washington, he was outed in 2 years, and he's having his best this is his best coaching job since the Predators.
It is. I don't know, the Rangers are your team. It seems like they go back and forth on this. They'll go from the taskmaster, like Tortorella and what he did, to the very more relaxed environment, like Elaine Vigneault, AV, and then they wound up playing the Stanley Cup final. That roster was a little better.
Right.
And then what happens is then all of a sudden they'll tune out the coach that's too relaxed, and they'll wind up bringing somebody else. They brought in David Quinn, and David Quinn, he was a little more strict. And they did okay. I mean, and then they brought in Gallant, and it only took over a year for that to fall apart. It's because he was too stubborn, and didn't really make good changes in game, and saw it last year in the playoffs in the first round. So that they go from the relaxed guy, left the locker, makes about the players, to they need a disciplinarian. And it seems like when they bring in that, the Laviolette brought structure. I mean, they didn't have any structure last year.
Right.
it seems to work for this team, and I think this team's got some real good balance too. I'm talking about the third line. I like the third line a lot. I like Wenberg. I like the way he plays. He's a really good two-way player, really good against the board, along the boards, coming face-offs, play some penalty kill. Will Cooley has been terrific. Well, I shouldn't say terrific, but he brings so much energy. He takes the body. He's like 6th or 7th in hits. Can always in front of the net. And I think that line's going to be a key. They're going to have to be a key to the playoffs. I actually think him, Hakl too, and it seems to work for that line. I think Wenberg's just a good fit for that line. I like the fourth line too. Brodzinski has been a real good story. VC, you know what you're going to get out of VC and Gaudreau. I guess the only thing that I'm curious about is, is Matt Rumpy going to play? Is he not going to play? He didn't play tonight, but which I thought was a mistake. But I just don't. I don't know. I'm not sure what the kid from Columbus brings. Sometimes, like he's hit or miss.
Right, Roslovic.
So it's like, yes, he's hit or miss. Like sometimes he's good, and I kind of like what Rumpy brings, but he just has to play between the lines. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I would imagine that Laviolette, he prefers vets. He'll probably have the lines the way they are tonight for the playoffs, and same thing with Gustafsson. Although I think Zach Jones is a better defenseman, and Gustafsson did not have a good first period. The Rangers overall did not have a good first period. And I don't know.
That's the worst period in a while.
Kreider also got hit by a Zibanejad shot.
Right.
So that was not too good either. He had to go to the locker room. I don't know what the deal is there. But I'm curious to see, like, how he, if they lose a game early, or if one of the players isn't as effective, whether it's a Gustafsson or it's someone else, will Laviolette make the lineup changes? Will he put Zach Jones in there? Because I kind of feel like he has a lot more faith in his bets. Zibanejad and Kreider have to be better at 5-on-5 if they're going to go anywhere. They're great power play players. They are, especially Kreider in front, and Zibanejad with the one-timer, but they have to be better 5-on-5. That's going to be a real key to how they do in the playoffs.
Yes, absolutely. And speaking of the playoffs, so in terms of first round possible opponents, let's not count tonight as a I'm afraid of the Islanders type of game. I mean, part of me is afraid of the Islanders, but are you more afraid of anybody is there anybody you're afraid of more than the Islanders, or is the Islanders the team you're most afraid of in terms of a round one opponent?
The Islanders don't scare me at all.
Really? Okay.
Are they? No, I'm not scared of them.
Somebody else said that to me recently, too.
I just feel, or I'll tell you why. They have to work so hard, like, to score their goals. And I give them credit. They've been scoring more goals. They're doing a good job. But, I mean, yeah, Barzal, Horvat, Dobson, those guys, they would have to have, like, monster series for them to win. And Sorgan would have to outplay Shesterkin. Palmieri's been a real good producer for them. Brock Nelson. I mean, I pretty much gave you, the key players on their team. Anders Lee, even though he's a shell of what he used to be because of how he plays, and that's what happens. They're probably have to buy him out after the season. But no, I think the only teams that would concern me are the Pens and the Lightning. I mean, the Pens because of Crosby, because Malkin's playing better, Rust. They have the courses. They have Letang. They have Carlson. Do I think they should beat the Pens? Yeah, I don't think the Pens are that good defensively. But Crosby is just a beast. He's unbelievable what he can do at age 36. He's amazing. I mean, he'll probably finish like 5th in MVP voting. He will get some votes. Obviously, we pretty much know what the MVP is going to be. Panarin will probably finish 3rd or 4th. I think Panarin deserves more credit for what he's done.
I agree.
But in the Lightning, they've got Vasilevsky, they got Kucherov, they got Point, they got Stamkos, even though he's more of a power play guy now. They're experienced. They have a really good coach, Cooper, obviously. The Pens have Sullivan. These teams, look, all these teams I'm talking about are beatable,
Right.
And if the Rangers play their game, meaning effective at 5-on-5, forecheck, not just rely on the Panarin line. They can't just do that and rely on their power play. Yeah, the power play is big for them, with Fox running the point, with Panarin being more of a shooter. I guess, I don't know who has more pressure. Who has more pressure in the playoffs? Is it Artemi Panarin after what happened last season, or is it somebody else, maybe like Connor McDavid? Actually, McDavid has gotten to a Stanley Cup final, so it's probably his Panarin. I mean, he's had this unbelievable season, and I think the teams are going to be trying to shut him down. They're going to try to shut down that line, and they're going to try to shut down Fox. So there's going to be pressure on Mika Zibanejad to elevate his game.
Yeah.
Because he's the one that has to elevate his game. Kreider's not a great 5-on-5 player, but Kreider, he'll go to the front of the net. But it's up to Zibanejad and I would say Miller and Trouba, and I don't like them as a pair. I would rather see Schneider with Miller. He's much more comfortable with him because Schneider's a better skater, but Laviolette's just not going to do it. He's not going to put Trouba on a third pair with Gustafsson or with Zach Jones. I feel like the secondary scoring is going to be an important key for them. In terms of matchups, yeah, of course there's going to be matchups, and yeah, I pretty much told you which teams would concern me, but any team's going to be tough. You know, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. That's what I'm trying to say. They got to play their game. If they play their game, and they establish how they want to play, keep the puck in the defensive zone, make these teams play defense, especially the Pens, because they're not that good defensively. The Islanders are not as good as they used to be defensively.
Right.
Lightning are not good defensively either. They haven't basically carried them along with Kucherov. They do all that, then they'll take care of business. They'll win in 5 or 6 games. Okay,
so I don't think we're going to see the Lightning in round 1. The Lightning, to me, I feel like are going to get the Atlantic winner. That to me,
they're going to get the first wild card, or yeah. Wait, not that they're not in the wild card. That's right. They're going to wind up playing the Leafs. Am I right?
Who's the wild card? I thought the Lightning were the wild card.
No, you know what? The Lightning are a wild card. That's right. They are a wild card.
So they're going to play Boston.
I think they're going to, I think they have a shot to knock Boston out.
I do too.
And I'll tell you why. I want to hear what you have to say about Boston. Why you think so. I want to hear your thoughts.
The Lightning just have the experience and the goalie. Like, I don't trust Boston's goaltending situation. I mean, that makes me nervous. I don't think the Bruins are as good as they were last year. I mean, they're just vulnerable to me, Boston. And to me, the President's Trophy right now is a 2, maybe a 3-horse race. If you want to throw Boston there, Rangers, and the team, say the Rangers lose tonight, the team that I think could win the President's Trophy is the Dallas Stars.
The Dallas Stars. Yeah,
we'll talk about them in a little bit, but I like Dallas. I think Dallas is a threat, but I think Boston can lose in round 1, especially to Tampa. Tampa has the experience. I mean, Vasilevsky's the best playoff goalie we've seen in a while. They don't underestimate champions.
I like their support players too, like Brandon Hagel. He's really good, and Nick Paul. Those 2 guys are really good. The defense is a little bit spotty, but in a 7-game series, like those guys, Hagel, Paul, those guys can come up big. I mean, if we could talk about their stars. You know what a beast Kucherov is, and Hedman. Hedman's been incredible this year. And Vasilevsky, like you said, I don't know. I don't like Boston secondary scoring either.
Me neither.
I love Pasternak. I love Marchand. I mean, Coyle's had a real good season. He stepped up. Zacha, I mean, they're not as strong at center. I mean, they're not going to win as many face-offs, so they're not going to have as much possession time. Their defense is still pretty good. McAvoy, they have a good defense. The goaltending, I'm kind of with you. I don't know. I like they have all these points, right? But they could easily get knocked out in the first round.
I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, realistically, the Penguins scare me the most because I don't think the Lightning. Because last time I looked at the standings, the Lightning had way more points than the second wild card, and they were closer to third in the Atlantic Division than they were to the second wild card. Pittsburgh makes me the most nervous realistically from a Rangers standpoint because they played them a couple years ago and nearly lost that series. Pittsburgh was up 3-1 against us. I mean, it's weird. They trade Gensel and all of a sudden they go on a run. That's credit to Crosby, Malkin, Letang, and obviously the coach Mike Sullivan.
Letang, Rust. Carlson's actually played a little better, but he's terrible defensively.
Right.
If I had to throw a couple other players that I like from their team, Drew O'Connor, he doesn't score a lot of goals, but and he's a former draft pick. I think we also drafted in the middle, but he's a hard-working kind of player. And Michael Bunting. Michael Bunting is the guy they got, the former Leaf that they got from the Hurricanes as part of the package that they got.
Yep.
Gansel's put up a zillion points for Hurricanes, and he's fit in perfectly. They don't know if they're going to re-sign him, though. If they don't re-sign him and the Hurricanes don't, win a Stanley Cup, that trade's going to be so lopsided.
It is.
And Bunting is a really good player. People forget. And, when I watched Malkin was, dead. He was not doing anything. And then, all of a sudden, Bunting is a really good net front guy. He works real hard, and Bunting seems to have rubbed off on Malkin, and Malkin's playing much better. So, it's all of a sudden the beast, they awakened the beast. And the beast has been playing great. And, and Nedeljkovic is the goalie right now. So it's I don't know how that's all going to work out, but, obviously, if you go up against Crosby, you go up against what they have, it's not ideal. Crosby, especially if the Rangers match up Trouba and Miller, they got schooled by them last week.
That was the eye-opener game for me, in terms of, the Penguins, you know what I mean? I watched that game, I was just oh, wait, the Penguins are playing really well, and then all of a sudden, they're hot, and I'm oh, okay, maybe that's not a bad loss for the Rangers after all.
Well, I don't know. I think they're good. I still think they're going to get in, but they might have to win their last 4 games because they got a point last night. They lost in overtime to the Maple Leafs. They got to be rooting for the Caps to win in regulation against the Red Wings. That's a big game right now. It's on ESPN. I don't know if there was no score when I watched first period. It was real fast. There was hardly any whistles. But the Red Wings are a point up on the Pens. Oh, no, they have the same amount of points.
Yeah, they're tied.
But the Red Wings, that's right. The Red Wings, this is their extra game. So the Pens need the Red Wings to lose in regulation, basically. And the Pens also have to play the Red Wings, I think. They have a game with them. And I think there's a big game, final game of the season. I want to say it's it might be Maple Leafs and Pens and Islanders, maybe? I think there's a final game of the season that's going to be just crazy. It might be Pens Islanders. I don't even know who it is. But there's some unbelievable, incredible games that you're going to get to see over the next 5-6 days. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot that Red Wings Caps game's on ESPN tonight. Right now, on one of my TVs, or on my TV, I have Celtics Bucks on. I should have on Red Wings Capitals. That's probably the better game right now because the Bucks are up 20 on the Celtics. But yeah,
that's funny.
That is really funny.
Doc Rivers could have coached his way out of paper bag. That's very funny.
Yeah, so it's fun talking about the Pens. I was going to ask you about the Penguins turnaround, but we talked about them in terms of most afraid in round 1. But yeah, I'm afraid of the Penguins. I'm not afraid of the Red Wings. The Capitals looked scary for a little while, but they've kind of fallen off. And the Islanders scare me a little bit more than you probably. Because of the rivalry and because of I like Sorokin. I'm a bigger Sorokin fan than most people.
I think the Islanders. I agree with you on Sorokin. I know he hasn't been the goalie. It's been basically Varlamov. Varlamov's played again tonight. Varlamov's been the hot goalie, and Patrick Roy, I give him credit. He's rolling with the hot goalie. And Sorokin's been off, and Varlamov, I think, was 5-0-1 in his last 6 starts. So he's just been rolling with Varlamov. And
right.
I mean, that's a big game for them. They were going to come out.
The Islanders have to win tonight. I mean, no fans are butts around it. The Rangers probably have the division locked up. I
looked at the first few shifts, Madison. The Rangers just did not look ready to play. The Islanders were attacking them. They were forechecking them. and it just didn't look like they were ready to play. And then
Right.
a couple of bounces, couple of tough bounces, couple of blown coverages, blown assignments, and and that's all that. And that first period was embarrassing for them. They were not ready to play. I don't know why, but it was not good.
Yeah, no, it wasn't good. They were due for a bad period. When was the last time the Rangers really had a bad period? The game at MetLife Stadium, for crying out loud.
And they came back and won that game.
They came back and won that game. So I'm not saying that this game's over because we know what happened at MetLife. That game was so fun. Oh my God, Derek. Before we move on to the Devils, that Islander Ranger game in the regular season was the most excited I was over a Rangers regular season win in years.
Well, I mean, you had Matt Rempe against Matt Martin.
Right.
That was unbelievable. Matt Rempe is so easy to root for. He's this 6th round pick. He's 6'7", 6'8", or whatever, and he has this positive energy, and I feel like they need that sometimes. That's why I would have played him tonight. I would have played him. I wouldn't have played Roslovic. I mean, it's not a knock on Roslovic. Sometimes when he's noticeable, it's when he brings his speed. And you see him on the forecheck. But when he's not noticeable, he's not good defensively, and Laviolette hardly plays him. Rempe, you're going to notice him, and if he's able to stay between the lines, he throws one of those hits. I mean, the defensemen have to watch out. Whoever is in the corner, I mean, and he knows how to play. I mean, I get it. He's not going to play a ton, but I do think they're going to need that kind of player, that energy, that whatever it is. And this guy, he just loves the sport. He loves it, and they're going to need that. Like Laviolette is going to have a tough decision, I think, in these playoffs with him and with Zach Jones, who I think deserves to be in the top 6. So, and we'll see. We'll see if Laviolette can make the necessary adjustments and not fall into the trap like Gerard Gallant did last year. So
yeah, we'll see about that. A couple quick hitters for the NHL before we move on to two other teams that we root for that are doing good. Devils, disappointing year for them, obviously. What direction do you think they're going to go with in terms of a coach? Do you think they'll retain Travis Green and make him the full-time coach, or do you think they'll do something else?
They got to do something else.
I agree.
Come on. I mean, Travis Green. Even my Devils contributor, he hasn't been writing as much because they're such an embarrassment and such a disappointing year for them. And it's just and then he finally put this long post together, very detailed on just what a debacle it's been this year. Talked about Travis Green, talked about how he thought that the whole thing with Rempe and the whole brawl was embarrassing. There's just so many things that they got wrong. You know, I mentioned Ryan Graves and Damon Severson are having bad years, and some fans could be like, oh, well, they're having bad years. But you go from that to, Luke Hughes, he's good offensively, but defensively, he needs a lot of work. And the other first round pick, who I just can't think of right now, but and then Brendan Smith playing a regular role, it's a drop off. That's a drop off. I mean, what about I can't even mention too much about Mike McLeod, because that whole thing is it's a disgrace. Him, Carter Hart, all those players, Hockey Canada. Mike McLeod was actually a key player for the Devils, and he's never going to play hockey again. So, I mean, it's been embarrassing. It's embarrassing for the sport. And shame on Hockey Canada for not doing it earlier. But they need to get, like, a real coach. I mean, they thought that just getting rid of Lindy Ruff and having Travis Green as an interim, and they did it too late, too. It's just like, then the goaltending fell apart. They made the trade for Jake Allen. He was pretty decent. They traded for Kaapo Kaukonen. Schmid probably needed more work in the minors. Nico Dawes, he could be the future. I don't know. I mean, like, even Jack Hughes. Like, Jack Hughes puts up points, puts up goals, not that good defensively. Sometimes lets the most get the best of him. Timo Meier was a no-show until they traded away Tyler Toffoli. And the funny part is, I mean, the guy they traded to Calgary has 30 goals. So
right.
It's just like it's just ironic the way things sometimes work out. I don't know. I don't think they're as bad as they've been this year. Maybe they weren't as good as they were last year. They need, you know what they really need? I don't think they would do it. I don't know if he's still going to be coaching the Flyers, but because he might want to moving upstairs, and I think he did a great job this year, but they ran out of gas.
Right.
Tortorella, they need a guy like that.
Oh, that would be fun.
It would be fun because would the Jack Hughes, would they buy into the Torts philosophy? I mean, it's just, blocking shots and playing. They just have no structure. They have no structure. They don't play any defense. They've had so many bad losses. I mean, they lost to Buffalo. They were up 2-0 in that game, and then they lost 5-2. They lost to Ottawa. They've lost to the Ducks. They've lost so many bad games. It's just, God, they really need to. I don't know what the deal is with the management there or whatever, ownership, but they really need to look in the mirror because, and the general manager as well, because it's a total mess. It's a mess.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting with the Devils. Tortorella, that's an interesting call, and I think he's done a fabulous job this year in Philadelphia with the year. They were much better than expected this season. I think John Tortorella has to be up there, playoffs or not. He has to be up there for Jack Adams, in my opinion.
Well, you know how I feel about Torts. I like the fact that he's so accountable. He's talking about them. I don't know. It was a presser over a week ago. He said that he even took responsibility. He said that he felt like he didn't prepare them well enough for what they were facing, and maybe not. I don't know, but I don't know. If you listen to his former players, Michael Delzato, or former players, they love playing for him. Yeah, he's not for everybody, but I'll tell you what, he knows how to develop better than people think. You look at Owen Tippett. Owen Tippett's going to be a power forward in this league. What's he got, 27 or 28 goals? He'll be a 30 to 35 goal guy. I mean, they're a young team. They weren't supposed to be where they are, and they lost Carter Hart because of the whole Hockey Canada thing.
Right.
And so, but they got some pieces there. Morgan Frost has started to play better for them. Jamie Drysdale, they got in that trade with the Ducks because their former pick didn't want to play for them. I don't know what that was all about, but it's going to take time. It's going to take time for them. So even if Tortorella moves upstairs, who's going to coach them? Are they going to be able to take the next step? What are they going to do with Travis Konecny? Are they going to re-sign him? They have some tough decisions, the Flyers do. Sean Couturier has not exactly been that good this year. He was afraid to scratch him. But I don't know what the Devils are going to do, but that's not my concern. So
right.
I'm more concerned with the
That's
Rangers.
Hassan's concern. Hassan's his name, right?
Yeah.
That's his concern.
Well, yeah, and he's probably just in a wait-and-see mode because he's pretty realistic. And they're gonna have to make some hard decisions, I think. So, how it can be.
Yeah, absolutely. And last hockey thing, who's your team to beat in the West? I think it's Dallas. I think Dallas is just incredible. I like Ottinger, and they made the final in the COVID year. Did they make 2 finals or 1 final? They made the final in the COVID.
No, the COVID year they made the final. Yeah,
the COVID year they made the final, but they lost in the Western final last year to Vegas.
I really like them too. I don't know how Wyatt Johnston, how this guy wound up 23rd in 2021 draft. I mean, the guy's got 31 goals. He put up 3 or 4 points the other night, and against in the showdown with the Avalanche, that pretty much. It probably wrapped up that division because they were 5 points up on them. There's 4 or 5 games left. But, I mean, they have a really good roster. I mean, Jason Robertson, who I like. Pavelski always shows up in the playoffs. Ottinger, Heiskanen. They have a really good team. They have a very good team. There's no question about it. That division's tough, though. I mean, you got them, you got Colorado, you got the Winnipeg Jets, who are kind of overlooked, and they've kind of been sneaking up on the Avalanche lately.
Right.
Nashville's a good team too.
Nashville's been a surprise.
I mean, Nashville always does this though, Madison. They always start slowly. They always have these big second halves. They have a good roster. You know, they have Charles now. They have Philip Forsberg. Brian O'Reilly turned into a great free agent signing. Center's like a really good line over there.
Right.
You got Roman Josi. They can score goals. You face Nashville. Let's say you finish first, right? And Dallas will get the lowest wild card. So that's the good news for them. They're not going to face the Dallas. They're not going to face the Predators. But imagine you finish first in the other division, like I think it's the Canucks right now, right?
Yeah.
They're without Thatcher Demko. JT Miller has a 100-point season. He became like the fifth Canuck to like 100 points. JT Miller, unbelievable. Great for him. Good for him. I always loved him. They've had a great year. You know, Quinn Hughes. I mean, they've got Brock Besser, a great story when he came back from. God, Demko better be ready to go. I mean, I wouldn't want to, imagine you have to face the Predators. You have to face the Predators in the first round. Oh, God.
That's a pain in the butt.
I want it. Who's the team to beat out west? I'm almost inclined to agree with you about the Stars. I like their structure. I like the way they play. Look, if they're going to do it, this is the time to do it.
Right.
This is the time that they got to get it done. So, they've got to get this done. But you know, the Avalanche could ruin it. You got the Oilers. You got the Canucks, and I'm not sure about the Canucks. If they have to face the Predators, they could lose.
Absolutely.
The Kings are also like in the mix. The West is tough. I haven't even mentioned Vegas. I know Vegas has been up and down for the past 2 months.
Can't count them out.
You're going to get Mark Stone back. I think they just got Thomas Hertl healthy finally. That they got him from the Sharks. That's going to help them a lot.
Right.
And they're like masters at the whole cap circumvention. But hey, that's the league. Blame the league. And then
the Lightning from when they were going on their runs, and even the Blackhawks back in the last decade.
Yeah. Look, that's the long-term injured reserve. I mean, that's what it's there for. They're very formidable, Vegas. I wouldn't put it past them to get a division and be in the conference finals, waiting for the Dallas Stars or the Avalanche.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past Vegas either.
That's what I kind of think was going to happen.
Right there with you.
I don't want to see it. I really don't want to see Vegas again. I'm getting a little tired of Vegas. Apologies to George Brew.
I was just going to say that. Brew's not going to like that.
But you know what? I mean, I like to see somebody new. I like to see Nashville. I like to see Winnipeg. I like to see something different.
I want to see Vancouver.
But I'd like to see the Stars. I would like to see the Stars in there. I like the way they play. I like their team. I didn't even mention Rupi Hintz. He's pretty good. I would love to see. I'd love to see something different. I'm not in love with the Oilers, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen there. It's I still think who knows? Maybe the Predators upset the Canucks. They could actually come out of that conference. I have no idea. I don't know what's going to happen.
I think the West is really, really good. I'm excited for the West. All right, a couple quick hitters before we go. What chances do you give the Knicks of going far in the playoffs without Julius Randle?
Oh God, where are they right now? The fifth seed?
I think they're tied for. Are they tied for third or fourth? I think they're tied for third because the Cavaliers keep losing weird games. So the Cavs are in fifth.
They had a big win over the Milwaukee Bucks. I know that.
That was a big one. That put them ahead of the Cavaliers in the East. So they're tied with Orlando for 3-4.
I feel like this is what I think. I think they will definitely win the first round. It'll probably be tough, especially if it's the Cavs, but I think they'll win the first round. I like the defense they play. Obviously, Adenavi has added a lot. How could you not love Brunson? He's just unbelievable. He might
Love
be
him.
the best point guard. Maybe not pure point guard, but he's just been awesome, fantastic. The Villanova connection, DiVincenzo, I love that addition. He's just the money from three. They're more of a three-point shooting team now. Gonna be tough without Randall. I can't think right now, but the backup center, Hardesty.
He's been terrific.
He's terrific. He's improved his offense, block shots, rebounds. Mitch Robinson. I always worry about him because his footwork's not great.
Right.
And that's why he was always winding up with injuries. But, Josh Hart, obviously the other Villanova kid. They're pretty deep. They're pretty deep. I like the fact that Tibbs he's trusting more of his players. So, can they make a run? Yeah, they can make a run. But chaos out here. But in Satan's Isle. But Satan's Isle, I don't know. I just have but I would say that what would I say? I think the Celtics are going to be pretty tough to beat.
I do too.
I think they're going to be very tough.
Rangers are on the board.
They scored a goal.
Power
Nice.
play. Yeah, Celtics to me are the team to beat too. Let's see. Was it Yes, of course it was none other than Chris Kreider.
Must be a power play goal.
Yeah, it was a power play goal. 3-1.
Yeah, I mean he's now 110, so he's 6 away from Camille Henry.
Wow, that's incredible.
For the French. Yeah, he just passed Rod Gilbert.
Wow.
So it's incredible. I mean, I love Chris Kreider to death, and there's a lot of pressure on the Rangers, Madison. I'll just say this real quick.
Absolutely.
If they don't play for the Stanley Cup, and they have if they somehow crap out and lose early, don't be shocked if Chris Kreider or Jacob Trouba wind up on another roster.
Oh yeah.
That
the Rangers, it's kind of like an NBA situation with the Rangers. We're talking about this with some of these NBA teams, like the Clippers. If they lose in round 1, Paul George is probably going to be on another team. With or without Randall, Julius, he might be on another roster next year. Randall. I mean, we're talking about this with the Rangers. I feel like they're like an NBA team all of a sudden. We're talking about if they lose early with the players and such.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Knicks, I would have been more optimistic with Randall, but at the same time, Knicks fans on the internet keep saying, well, Randall was never good in the playoffs anyway, but those are the Randall haters. I've always been listen, I'm not a Randall hater, but I like Randall, but I obviously...
He wasn't healthy.
He wasn't healthy.
Yeah, we didn't know.
Yeah, so I think the Knicks can win round 1 depending on their matchup, but I think if they end up third, there's a slight chance I think they can get to the conference finals.
I hope so.
I think there's a chance. But they have to finish third. If they get in 4 or 5, they're losing to the Celtics probably.
Oh God, but I'd love to see it. I mean, it's been too long.
Right. I'd love to see it too. All right, Yankees hot start. They are 9-2. I went to the home opener and they lost that game, but of course I'd go to the game where they shit the bed. But the other games that they played, they're awesome. They're really fun to watch. And I love that Anthony Volpe's made the leap he's made. I think that's a huge reason why. And I can't believe they're doing this without Garrett Cole.
The Garrett Cole point is a good point because I've thought about it myself. But I would also say, Volpe, I think Volpe is a real student of the game. I'm sure he looked at a lot of videotape. He probably looked at a lot of video and just dissected what he was doing. Too many of the uppercut swings with the launch angle, and that's probably why he's off to a better start because he's swinging better and he's making better contact, solid contact. I mean, there's a lot to like. I mean, it's not like Judge was off to a great start, but Stanton has 3 home runs. You mentioned Volpe, who's just been awesome so far. Verdugo. They made some nice additions. They made some good additions to this roster. The guy that I would have never thought would be on the Yankees. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah, I can't think right now, but I never would have thought what's his name would be on the roster. The ex-Met or whatever. All he did was talk smack about the Yankees.
Oh, Stroman.
It's like it's just ironic, and I know he pitched really good at the game that you went to. So, yeah, I think that Hill, spelled Gil.
I like him. I like Louis Hill.
He gets swings and misses. Also, you look at Clark Schmidt. It's a little bit of an improvement. So a little bit of growth there. Bullpen, yeah, I know that they had another arm because they lost one of their key cogs. So you got home still closing games. I think the bullpen's still going to be good. I think they got a pretty good team. They do have a pretty good team. Yeah, they do. LeMahieu's not even back, right? So, but that's just going to give Boone another option. So they have a lot of good options with this roster, and it looks like they have pretty good depth. So, why shouldn't they be good this year? Why shouldn't they, be in the mix for the division?
Exactly. They've been the best team in baseball so far. I mean, they've been the most impressive team as well. I mean, sweeping the Astros, won 2 out of 3 at the reigning NL champs. Blue Jays are talented, won 2 out of 3 against them. The Marlins stink. But I think the Yankees have been the most impressive team easily so far. And it's really exciting. And one last thing before we go. The Masters. Are you going to watch it? And if so, who do you think has a chance here to win this?
I'll try to watch. It's like the same thing as I work afternoons. Sometimes it's tough, but I might be able to catch maybe the end of it on Sunday.
Right.
The one name that always comes to mind for me is Justin Thomas.
Right.
That's the one player that I always think of now. I don't know. Is there anybody that you like that you think could win?
Justin Thomas is a name I've considered. I always like picking the guys from the Live, like DJ, Dustin Johnson. Okay. Everyone and their mother's going to pick Scotty Scheffler. I don't think Scotty's going to win. Either him or John Rahm. Everyone is going to pick those guys. I'm going to reveal my pick on the show tomorrow. But guys, I'm considering Justin. DJ's a consideration. I'm also considering Brooks Koepka, who's one of my favorite golfers. I love Colin Morikawa.
Okay.
I think Bryson DeChambeau has to be brought up. That's a name we haven't talked about in a while. But my most interesting story, though, is does Tiger continue his streak of cuts?
I didn't even know he still golfs. I shouldn't say that, but it's just I don't know. How much longer is he going to hang around for? I guess that's the question.
Right. How much longer does he hang around for? And I'm surprised that he's still golfing too. Good on him. And he won the thing 5 years ago, right?
He did.
That was incredible. That's just a fun memory. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the Masters. It should be a lot of fun. I'll give out my pick on the show tomorrow. Any last thoughts before you go, Derek?
I wish I could think of anything. I just wish that we had weather like this all the time. I know we're going to get some rain for the next day or so, but to a great spring. Hopefully it will be a spring to remember.
Yeah, let's hope it's a spring to remember with the Rangers and maybe even the Knicks making a run for what it's worth.
So.
I hope so, too. I'm excited. All right, Derek, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on, as always. Maybe we'll have you on next month if the Rangers are from... let's just hope that the Rangers are still playing hockey in a month from now. If so, we'll definitely have you on. Even if they're not, we'll have you on because there's going to be some hockey subplots that come out, and maybe, who the hell knows, maybe the Islanders make a surprise run, or maybe the Penguins are... yeah, I hope not either, but just for the sake of the podcast, we just love talking hockey. So we'll certain to have you on here soon.
It was a pleasure. Thank you again for having me.
Absolutely.